Hi guys, welcome to Bolo Up. I am gonna get comfortable. Today is the 7th of September and I am gonna get comfy on my bed and get in my covers because even though it's like hot as haze outside, it's cold in my apartment and it's only 78 degrees. I think because I haven't had any coffee or any stimulants today, my body's just like a little bit cold. I hope I'm not coming down with anything. I don't think I am, but I broke out my comforter. So, I hope you're having a really good day. I made 2 videos within the last couple days. They're kind of goofy. I had my little beanie that I purchased and I tried it on, and my first little short that I made, I had pulled that beanie over my head and I walked into the living room and I started laughing like very boisterously, very jubilantly, very hilariously, because when I went into the living room, my better half was sitting at his desk and his face was like the most classic face. It was the best thing ever. And I could not show you him because he was in his Fruit of the Looms and only that. So I just laughed hysterically, and then I just walked out of the room and decided to just end that video. But I wanted to share that with you because I really didn't add anything to that video to explain why I was laughing. And I just thought it was funny because when I tried the beanie on, when I bought it, I saw the eyes, but I wasn't sure that they were meshy until I actually opened the package. And then that was my first response, was to pull it over my head and go surprise him. And I was working too, so it had to be a real quickie. So now we have read a little bit, and we can see that even the doctors that are doing all their testing are also having reactions to to what's going on. And we are going to start on page 159. I've read ahead quite a bit, and there's quite a few pages ahead, so without keeping you waiting, let's jump into this. So this is for the participant Bite Me, and date 7/27/75, timestamp 5/12, and here we go. Read it. And the blanks, you can fill in the blanks. I'm not going to say them, but blank, blank, blank. I can only imagine, with it being the situation that it is, what's the first word that comes to your mind? Either starts with an S or starts with an F. Well said. CIT or Site B. This is why they cut Civicomms a few weeks back. The shutdown date lines up with when it mutated. We never really thought that was for maintenance. Site B. This is why Aiden blasted Copernicus. Bite Me. We don't know that for sure. We have a bigger problem. Bigger than the AI killing a third of the fleet? Bigger than it having to? The Copernicus shuttle survivors made it to the Alexander. Makes sense. They took Aiden offline as soon as it X'd out Copernicus. We don't know that. Now, remember, these two are talking with each other back and forth. So, just on the computer. I found more stuff. I was so sure she was in there. Now I'm praying she isn't. Can't stop shaking. Now, there is a whole bunch of chapters that I did not read to you. Only because if you decide you want to buy this, then I'll leave that up to you. I just kind of started at a place and then we've just kept going. And I really didn't think that this was going to be a thing online, but it is. So, so Site B, wish I could say more than I'm sorry. Bite me. Nobody can. I have to tell Ezra what we found, and those survivors are all just pinned up in Bay 4 with each other. For now. Yeah. So I'm assuming that this is an S word. Excuse me. Going on to the next one, we have ended 160. Now we're on 161. Now you can see where the names are kind of crossed out. Ancho, Captain, so she's not responsive. David Torrance, General, he's also not responsive. So all the big head honchos, a lot of them are not active anymore. So now it's going down to the next in line or next in command. Bite me, Ez, I got something. Mason E stands for Ez, Lieutenant Second. On Jimmy? No, remember Jimmy's like one of his BFFs, and he was on one of the ships. Excuse me. Bite me. Yeah, it's not conclusive though. I think we should wait for more before you read. Hell no, send it now. Is he okay? Look, I didn't want to lie to you and say I didn't find anything, but don't think you should read, honest. Why not? What happened? Cades. Look, it's not good, but it's too soon to know. Can you just trust me? Why, what's wrong? Jesus, talk to me. I'm not trying to make this worse. There was a lot of stuff in those files. Do you know something or not? This is my friend, damn it. He was there when I was losing my blinking mind over you. He was there looking out for me when my dad died, and I had no one else. I owe him, Katie. So these two go way back. He was there when I wasn't. Is that what you're saying? Jesus, this is not about you and me. Tell me what you know. Promise me you won't do anything stupid. Promise me you understand it won't help him to have you in trouble. Ezra? Fine, I promise. I mean, really promise. Not say whatever you have to say to get what you need. I can't lose you, Ez. You're all I have. God, it's really bad, isn't it? You could make it worse if you do something stupid. Put us both in danger. I promise. Cross my heart and hope to die. Just cross your heart, okay? Sent. Briefing note. After action report from UTA Marine First Lieutenant Winifred McCall concerning the incident in Hangar Bay 4 of the Alexander. After accident report, Ministry of Interior United Terrain Navy, Alexander Fleet. Intercept 7:26:75, 11:17 shipboard time. Location, United Terrain Naval Battle Carrier Alexander, Hangar Bay 4. Officer ident Winifred McCall, UTN-961-641 ID. Rank, First Lieutenant. Remember, if this cuts out, I do apologize, and we just have to leave it until next week. So that's why I'm kind of rushing this a little bit for you. At 1906, shipboard 7:25:75, Sigma Squad and I scrambled to a Code Blue alert issued by Alexander Command. Squad mustered in a timely fashion to Deck 146, where we were briefed by Executive Officer Lia Miles on behalf of General Torrance. Site Rep. The Copernicus refugees quarantined in a Hangar Bay 4 had engaged in some kind of riot in protest over their conditions. Violence was ongoing. Say she has no idea. Sigma Squad was ordered to enter the bay and restore order. Video surveillance rigs within the bay had been destroyed, and bioscanners wouldn't penetrate the bay walls. So we'd be proceeding blind. We were issued hot ballast and authorized for lethal force. In other words, they're not going to stun anybody. They're shooting to kill if they need to. We were also equipped with hazardous materials kits, including fully sealed Type A enviro suits. Why hazmat gear, I asked. And then this is crossed out. I guess it's not supposed to be on the report. So this is kind of her thoughts to herself. I already knew the answer. Scuttlebutt had been rife about the sickness on Copernicus. Everyone knew odds were good at least a few of those refugees were carriers. I just wanted someone in command to acknowledge it. This is 163. Or maybe that's not her. I don't know. Exo Miles glared with those pretty eyes for a good long while before she answered. Miles doesn't like me, see. She's academy trained and born politician. She looks at the battlefield commission on my chest and presumes I think I'm better than her. She's a clever one. Okay, so there's two of them, and one of them's already experiencing all this stuff. Excellent question, Lieutenant, she finally answered. We suspect a mutated strain of the Phobos virus, now a class alpha 0 pathogen, is loose in Bay 4. It's positive none of the refugees are afflicted. Yeah, right. However, we're taking no chances, I reiterate. The use of lethal force is authorized. No one without a sealed hazmat suit gets out of that bay alive. So, if anything happens to that really thin material, everybody is goners, but it sounds like they're already affected. You want us to shoot civilians? I want you to protect the 6,000 plus people in this fleet, Lieutenant. I want you to stop, by any means necessary, an afflicted body getting into Alexander's general population and spreading the pathogen aboard this ship. Remember, there are 2 ships. Hands on hips. I want you to do your job. A few of my rookies conscripted from the Carenza refugees look a little panicked at the notion. A few of my rookies conscripted from the Carenza refugees looked a little panicked at that notion. They might know people in Hangar Bay 4. Crowd, after all. They had no training in chemical agents or bioweapons after 6 months. Most barely knew the business end of a VK-85 burst rifle or how to lace their boots right. Wow. As ranking officer, I had to toe the company line, but my 2I C Sergeant James McNulty stepped up. Now James is the hero of the day, and he's BFF to someone. He stepped up to ask the obvious questions I couldn't. So if these civvies are infected, why don't we just leave them locked in the bay? Which would be the best thing to do, but you might, want to try to save everyone you can. But if everybody's infected by an airborne pathogen virus, why would you even want to open the doors? They have Copernicus engineering staff among them, Exo Miles replied. They're trying to break through the air locks. Given the tools available, they'll succeed in time. Why don't we just open the outer doors and space them? Wow. That was Sykes, one of my solar corporals. Word around the barracks was he got a vid call from his wife 3 days before Carenza attacked, telling him she was running off with her psychoanalyst. She even took their dog. She hated dogs, apparently. Slam lid on that noise right now, Corporal, I ordered. It's a validation question, Miles said. My eyebrows hit the ceiling at that time. Cold as the belly of the void. Little Leia Miles. She turned to Sykes. The refugees have disabled the locking mechanism on the outer bay doors. We can no longer operate them from the bridge. They must have suspended. Flushing them was an option. Wonder what gave them that idea, McNulty muttered. Further questions, she asked, looking at me. Silence. Right. Good hunting. We suited up, no banter among my boys, no jokes. Bad sign. I was watching my Kernza rooks close, wondering if they were going to hold nerve when ordered to open fire on people they knew. If the concept of the greater good was going to sink through those trigger fingers past notions like loyalty and friendship and love. In the end, I made the call to bench them, keep them in reserve outside the second airlock. So he decided just to go ahead and keep them out. It meant Sigma was going in short-handed. So short-handed people, and keeping the inexperienced ones behind the lines. Oh, okay. So all the skilled ones are going through the doors. But there was a soul among them who didn't look relieved. We proceeded to the hangar decks, bridge control cycling us through the 3 heavy-duty doors one at a time. We still had our all-access passes, but Command had issued a security override on Bay 4. Each airlock closed behind. I gotta pause it. He's gonna come through the door in just a moment here. Each airlock closed behind before the new one opened in front and cycled through a full auto purge. He came in the room just like I expected him to. So, ordering my reserves to hold positions at the second door and kill anything that didn't ID itself, I requested Command open the final seal. The door shuddered. The hangar beyond was unlit. Black. Oh, I can imagine. As the empty past the outer bay doors. We engaged thermal vision and stepped inside. VK's ready. Safety's off, I ordered. McNulty took point, creeping into the dark. I can see welding gear and industrial cutters scattered about the inner door, scorch marks on the titanium. The silence was almost total. It had been days since they took Aiden offline and cut the main drive, but I still wasn't used to it. Those engines used to be a constant, a thunder you could set your back against, a heartbeat gone now, and mine wasn't loud enough to replace it yet. The bay was huge, stretching off in every direction, but I took my best guess and motioned for Sigma to proceed. I can see the abandoned Copernicus shuttles in the darkness. 9 bulky scarabs, a makeshift barricade welded around them, like some circle wagon train from a history VR, virtual reality. I thought I saw a flicker of movement in a porthole for an instant, and then it was gone. They were on their way toward them. We were on our way toward them when we found the first bodies. My honey snuck in when I was reading, and he bought me a slice of watermelon. It smells so good. Okay, so no plate, just a napkin. So I'm gonna get out of bed after I read, and I'm gonna go gobble it up and then start work. So I don't know how far we're gonna get. Okay, so I've seen people die hard, die messy. Job like mine, you live with the Reaper every day. But if you're unlucky, it's not the bullets that kill you in this gig. It's moments like these, killing you one piece at a time. And there were 20 of them, all up, 11 males, 9 females, children through the middle age. I'm not sure where the heads were. We never found them. They were stripped to the skin, twisted on the floor in some kind of pattern. It wasn't until I vaulted up onto a fuel drum and got a bird's eye view of what I realized they were arranged to form letters. 2 words spelled out on the floor in cold, naked meat. Help us. Oh, wow, okay. So this is a little graphic, so I'm so sorry. If you want, you can go ahead and stop watching this video. I should have gave my disclaimer before I started. Still at McNulty, I ordered. Knife wounds, Sykes said, kneeling by one of the bodies. Multiples. Well, whoever did it probably wasn't considerate enough to cut through their own throat afterward, I said. They're still in here. Eyes open. Stay chill. In other words, you better be alert. I could feel McNulty's eyes on me in the dark. What the hell is going on in here, LT? Screaming. We heard it in the distance echoing through Alexander's guts. A girl. Pleading. Remember in the previous chapters where they said that you look for somebody to, like a family member, for consoling you and keeping you safe? Well, keep in mind that they can use that to lure you in and make you feel like they're vulnerable, and then they can hurt you. Just saying, maybe that's what they're using a child for, their whatever they're doing. This is what I'm assuming. I did read ahead, but not too much ahead. Move, I hissed. We're running. Sweat on my skin, finger on my trigger. I could see more bodies crumpled in the dark, but didn't stop long enough to inspect them. Broken skulls and open wrists. This was no protest. This was no riot. Shapes appearing out of the darkness ahead. 5 of them. Voices babbling. There she is! Hold her still! Help me! The knife! Get the knife! Help! UTA Marines, I bellowed. Freeze! I could see them, covered in blood, wide-eyed and pale. 3 men and women gathered around a little girl, no more than 9 or 10 years old. She was screaming, pleading. A fat man sat down atop her chest, crushing the breath out of her. The other 3 stood over them, iron bars and pipe wrenches in hand, slicked to the elbows in blood. Drop the weapons! McNulty roared. Sigma Squad found out around him, red laser sights cutting through the black. You blinkers! The woman's fat! Now, you come! 167. Moving on to the next page. You left us behind. You left us in here to die, she shouted another. Drop the weapons! Step away from the girl and put your hands on your head, I shouted. Miss, you don't understand. The fat man moaned. I realized he was crying, tears cutting trails down blood-stained cheeks. She's with him. She's with him. Drop the weapon. The man was struggling to breathe, fingers drumming on the bloody metal of his chest. Eric, the woman said. She's with him. You stupid mother. Brother, drop it, Sykes bellowed. Drop it now. I looked across the dark to the girl's face. Brown eyes, one hand up to shield her head. So little, so helpless. Nothing between her and the end of us. The fat man raised his pipe wrench. Eric, don't! Fire! Muzzle flashes lit the dark. Our VKs roared. And when we were done, there were 4 new bodies on the floor, staring sightless up into the black above our heads, waiting for a god who wasn't coming. The girl's wails filled the quiet. McNulty stilled his VK, ran across the carnage, and picked her up from the bloody grill. He held her to his chest, those big arms wrapped around her tight, doing all the right things, making all the right noises. Hush, baby, it's okay. You're all right now. Uncle Jimmy's got you. He would have made a good dad. I don't know where she held the shiv. Up her sleeve? In her dress?